Hi everybody, Brody from Brody's Garage, episode 7. And how are you this evening or this afternoon or this morning? It is the early part of the evening. I'm enjoying a cold one after kind of a long day of cleaning up the garage. I wish I could be working on the car itself, but most of my time, I would say thus far, has been spent online researching, ordering parts, cleaning up the garage, installing shelving and cabinets, breaking down cardboard boxes, hauling off said cardboard boxes and pallets, and it's just been a lot of intake of preparation in hopes that one day I'll actually get to work on the car. Now, I'm kidding a little bit. I have done some work on the car, but it's been a lot of prep. A lot of new tools I had to order and buy. I even got myself a dry erase board so I could kind of, keep tabs on a little checklist. As you can see, it's about 100 things and I've done 2 of them. But it's okay. I'm getting a game plan together. A lot of parts are starting to show up. If you can look here on the floor, I received today, finally, my Holley intake. It's the Holley low ram intake manifold. And in between that upper and lower plenum will be the TIC Performance air to water intercooler. So I just got that a while ago today. Where we left off was I went to the SEMA show for a few hours on day 1, which was nice. I got my wheels and we talked about the mounting and balancing ordeal, but that's coming together. I just received word from TCI that my suspension is being shipped and it's going to be here in a few days. So that means the car is going to go up on its side on the rotisserie. I'm going to weld in my brackets for my rear end. I'll bolt on the front subframe, suspension, brakes, coilovers, all that stuff. And I can actually put the wheels on this thing and maybe set it on the ground to see what it looks like as a rolling chassis. Very exciting. So yeah, some of the things that I've ordered, 2-3 months ago are just now starting to roll in. And I've been cleaning up the garage, as I mentioned. That's been a big part of the daily work around here, is just cleaning up and getting ready. I did do this, and I'm going to flip the camera, so enjoy this quick edit as we make our way around to the firewall. As you can see, I did weld in my block-off plate for the original heater blower, which was that piece of metal right there, and cut out a new piece and welded it in. The good news is my little brand new Lincoln welder is just really slick, and it does a nice clean weld, even for an amateur like me, which, by the way, this is really the first time I've owned a welder and I actually hooked up gas to it. I've only owned the sort of, flux-coated wire feed welders in the past, little cheap ones. This thing does a slick job and the welds are coming out pretty nice, and I'm starting to get a little flow to it, a little hang of it. The bad news is, despite my best efforts to kind of stitch this thing together and keep the heat down, I really warped the crap out of this panel. You can't really see it maybe in this video, but it's pretty bowed and buckled, and now I'm going to spend some time doing some heat shrinking to get it kind of flattened out and smoothed out. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It's coming along. I filled some other holes in the firewall there and there. I've got a lot of work to do on this side. I need to mock up my master cylinder from Willwood, and this is where the tilt column is going to come through. And it's supposed to come with a floor mount bracket. Until I get the bracket, I don't know if it's a full bracket made to fit this entire thing, or if it's one of those round bezels that just goes around the column, and then I'll have to weld this all in. So I'm waiting to see what that all looks like when I get it. But really, that's all I've done on the car for now. I did get these beautiful, and excuse me, I'll have to pull this out of the way. I did get these beautiful polished stainless steel door striker plates from Mad Mooks, they're called. And they are awesome. And as far as I can tell, they look like a solid piece. However, I've got a problem. My door latch, which is a reproduction door latch, inside of a reproduction door, using reproduction stainless strikers, is not lining up. And the problem is that thing is sticking out as far as it can stick. and so is the striker plate. And I am not, the latch is not going inside. It's not far enough this way to get inside of the striker plate. Now, the only real adjustment is I could loosen up the door latches, or excuse me, the door hinges, and slide the door back, but I've already got a pretty tight gap, so I don't think I can do that. So the only thing that I can think of is I would have to make some sort of a shim and put it behind the striker to push that thing. I'm just gonna set the beer down. I'm gonna have to move this piece out, I think. Now, I'm gonna wait until I get the car on the ground. I don't think there's any buckling going on, but there might be some buckling because of the way the car is sitting on the rotisserie. But I don't really see the car bending in the middle and doing any sort of a V-shaped thing. So I'll take another look at this. If somebody out there has a suggestion, I'm all ears, but as of right now, they don't quite go together. The passenger side actually fits a little bit better, but the driver's side, not so much. So I don't know if it's a problem with the door jamb just being misshaped, or if it's the latch itself is not, made to the proper spec, or if it's that thing. Might be possible that I could also get in behind here and kind of, massage that metal out, push it out a little bit. That's a possibility, but somehow this needs to come in to meet that striker plate. So that's what's up with that right now. I did pop my Dakota Digital gauges in there just to see what they kind of look like, and they look fantastic. The bezel fits really well. We talked about the wiper switch, and the Detroit Speed wiper motor is still in place. The dash pad is on there, just resting on there. And that's really it. I have decided that I'm going to remove this trunk lid hinge and bracket, the entire thing. I'm just going to cut it off from the wheel tub and from the bottom of the trunk filler panel for two reasons. A, I'm just not happy with the way it's sitting on there. First of all, you can see it's kind of cockeyed. It's a little tilted to the left. And secondly, I went ahead and ordered a set of the billet aluminum trunk hinges from Eddie Motorsports. So I'm just going to pull the entire thing apart, and when I get the new stuff, I'll mock it back up. I'll set the deck lid back on here with the weather strip in place to, accommodate that gap. I'll set it on there and see what I've got to do to make that thing work out right. The other reason I kind of like the billet hinges, it gets rid of the torsion rods that go across there, and it uses a strut rod, a little gas strut, as a shock absorber. So, also, I want to give a big shout out, and I'm going to flip the phone back again. A big shout out to Mitch Lanzini of Lanzini Body Works out there in Huntington Beach, California. Mitch, unbeknownst to me, was a Facebook friend, or he was following my Facebook page because of music stuff. It turns out he's a guitar player, and I really had no idea that he knew about me, but he found my page, and then when I kind of announced that I was working on the car, he gave me a shout out. And I picked his brain for about an hour the other day. I called him and said, hey man, you mind if I ask you a few questions? He's like, absolutely. We got on FaceTime. I gave him a tour of the garage and the car, and he gave me a lot of great pointers and some advice. And after talking with him, I've decided that I'm gonna go ahead and lose the door lock holes here. I'm gonna lose the key door. I'll keep the handles, as a matter of fact, they're sitting right here. These are also from Eddie Motorsports, and they're a polished billet aluminum door handle that is very much like the original handle with a slight styling twist to it, and it's polished aluminum. They're super lightweight and they're super snazzy, and I thought that would be a good balance between keeping a retro look and a slight modern flair to it. But I am going to shave the door locks, and I'm going to go with a keyless entry system, so it'll be a one of those kind of deals with a fob. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go the distance and do the trunk and the ignition as well, so I can do a remote start and full keyless entry for the entire car. While we're on the subject, I am going to build a custom center console for the car for my low car shifter, which by the way is an electronic sports shifter. It's got the full manual operation, and then you can kick it to the side and it'll do the little electronic upshift. And somewhere within the console, I'm going to incorporate a touchscreen. I don't know if it's going to be a multimedia player like a Kenwood Pioneer kind of a thing, or if it's just going to be a standalone tablet. Haven't quite decided, but I would ideally like to have a centralized tablet that controls the audio system, maybe a backup camera, and I want to interface it with the Holley Terminator fuel management system so I can monitor the gauges and monitor the readout for my tuning and stuff. So that's what's going on here for episode 7. Not a lot of action, just a lot of talk. Sorry about all that. And now then, I'm going to get back to my cold beer and take a shower and get the grinder dust off me. You guys have a great evening, afternoon, morning. Please subscribe to my channel. That way you can see what happens in the next episode. Who knows, I could completely screw this entire thing up. Or it could turn out really bitchin'. Hopefully the latter. Anyway, you guys have a great one. Thanks for checking out the video, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.